Hello my beautiful magical beings, how are you? What it do? What it do? Oh snap. It's a party up in here. A So as you can tell, I look a little professional. Well, in a way, kinda, not really. This is a sports bra. I didn't have no tank top for this underneath, but legit, I just bought this like a day or two ago. I got this at Walmart, not Walmart, Goodwill. It was like $6. But anyways, I just did a Zoom interview about like 30 minutes ago, and I'm really excited. I'm hoping to hear back from them within next week, so that way I can start working with them. It's this interview for a mental health technician. That's a little update from me. Otherwise, like, I do have some other interviews lined up as well, so if I end up not getting this job, I do have some other backup plans as well. So in this video, I'm gonna hop right in because I don't want to waste any more of your time. So I do want to talk about healing your inner child, and the reason why I was mentioning what I was doing the interview was because of the inner child healing that I had to do last week. I just want to give a quick story about me and then why it's so important about healing your inner child and what you can do. So what I realized was that my wounded inner child was running the show for so many years, or you could see it as your subconscious mind or your ego was running the show of what you've been used to, you know, your personality and how you are as a person. And my wounded inner child was that I didn't feel safe to be myself, or to express myself, or to play, or to speak up, or to be myself in general. My parents were fighting all the time. As an immigrant child, we moved from Mexico to the US, and my parents legit, you know, they worked in factories, and so I barely saw them. And I went to school, an all-white school. I was legit like the only Mexican, and I didn't know English at the time. Like, all I knew was Spanish. And so imagine as a kid, like, being somewhere where you don't know the language, you don't know the people look different from you. And honestly, it's all a blur. Like, I don't really remember too much, but I just remember as a child being scared. And I have so many examples of this, how it affected me as a child and how it like led up to my teenage years, my early adulthood. I'm still a young adult, you know, I'm 27 years old, but like even to 27 years old, that wounded inner child was running the show. My whole life I've been holding myself back from speaking up, or from taking risks, or taking opportunities, or hanging out with people, meeting friends, all because I was that shy and quiet person. From that small child that was scared to like play with other kids, or speak up, or like interact with other people, it led me to be this shy and quiet person in school, in grade school. Legit, I was that quiet person. Like, I'd sit in the back of the classroom, I wouldn't speak up, I wouldn't talk at all. And that's just who I was, you know, like, that's how I was. That's how everyone saw me. I'm just gonna say a few embarrassing moments of my life, just because I feel like it would better help you understand where I was coming from and what I had to deal with in order to become who I am now. So in high school, I think it was like the 11th or 12th grade, a lot of my friends were like in upper grades, and they had already graduated, or my friends had either moved away. And so I did know people, and I was cool with them. Like, I was kind of that person that just kind of blended in with anybody and everybody. Like, I didn't really have a specific group friend, but I could like mingle with a lot of different people, but I wasn't part of them. Like, I could interact and talk to them like one-on-one or like group settings, but I wasn't them. Like, I wasn't part of them. I wasn't. My friends that I did have, they were gone. They left. I didn't really have anybody to like sit with at lunch. Like, oftentimes I wouldn't eat lunch. Like, I would skip lunch, or I would legit, like, I would go to the bathroom, the locker room, and I would just like stay in there. Legit, I would just stay in there. Like, like, that's so sad, dude. Like, imagine just skipping your food because you didn't want to be in line and like having no one to sit with. I just didn't want to be seen as that loner girl, because I've always been a loner girl. Like, I've always been isolated from my family, even when I was younger. Whenever my family, my brothers, my aunts, uncles, cousins, they would come over, I would immediately run upstairs. I would go upstairs and lock myself in that room. I mean, I wouldn't come down. Like, even if I had to go to the bathroom, even if I had to just pee, like, I would not go downstairs because I did not want to interact with people. I remember my brother just telling me, like, Tico, because he, like, that's his nickname. His nickname for me is Tico. He'd be like, Tico, come down, come down. Like, he'd get so mad at me, but like, I was so depressed as a child that I didn't want to interact with people. So there's that. And then in college as well, there's a lot of different examples that I could talk about, but like, before I found out that I had social anxiety, I legit, my first year of college, I would just like lock myself in my dorm room. I would just be in my dorm room, and I wouldn't, like, the only thing I would go outside for is to go to my class or to get food. Or when I did have a roommate, the next semester, whenever she would come up, like, I would just do my own thing. Like, I wouldn't really interact with people. Or when I did transfer to a different college and I was part of the sorority, or whenever I would participate in like group events or like study abroad or something, whenever I was around groups, like, I had a hard time like interacting with people, and I would mostly just stay to myself, or I would get annoyed. Like, legit, it was a very hard time in my life, because it was so hard for me to make friends. It was so hard for me to speak up. It was so hard for me to do anything, because legit, I was shake up. Like, legit, anywhere or everywhere that I went, like, I was just always so like to myself. I could go on and on and on and on and give plenty of different examples. And so because of that, that had led me to always work jobs like at warehouses. Even though I had a psychology degree, I would limit myself to a warehouse job, because I didn't want to interact with people. Like, my social anxiety was so bad that I did not want to, like, I didn't want a customer service. I didn't want to talk to anybody, dude. The reason why I'm saying all of this is because most recently I was let go from my job at Amazon at a warehouse, and I worked there for about a year and some months. They're very strict about being productive, especially if you're a stower. So as a stower, you just put items away, and they want you to be productive and like fast all the fucking time, which is bogus, which is dumb shit, which is like just the dumbest shit ever. Because like, they expect you to be a fucking robot, to be a machine. And like, obviously there's times where I felt so weak and so tired, and I just couldn't keep up with what their requirements. I was already on a final warning, and I went through this one situation. Because of that, I had went to work feeling really stressed out, and I just felt so tired. I felt so weak. And then they came up to me like, grab your stuff and come downstairs with us. And I already knew what was up. And I sat down in that room full of like 3 managers, and then one of the guys was like,
were you aware that you were in a final warning?
And I was like, yeah. And then they're like,
oh, from this moment forward, we're gonna have to terminate you due to productivity levels.
And blah, 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 blah. And I just started crying, dude. I just started crying. Legit, I think it was a month from today, me filming this video, I was let go from that job. And so this whole month, I was freaking out. I was trying to come up with a plan, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I can go back into coaching. Maybe I can actually do that. And I do want to get into coaching, but the thing is, like, I have to build rapport. I have to like build an audience in order for people to want to work with me, in order to attract clients. And I wasn't putting in the work towards that because of my own limiting beliefs and not feeling ready and prepared, and just like my whole life theme of hiding myself and not really trying. So I just, like, this whole past month, I felt like I was just dealt with the consequences of my actions, of playing small, of not going after my purpose, of me not living my potential, of always hiding and being with people that really didn't deserve me or didn't respect me, like all these different things. It definitely was a very dark moment. I was having a lot of dark thoughts, just because like when it comes to change, like I have a very hard time with change. I am a fixed sign, I am a fire sign, I'm a Leo, and as a Leo, like we kind of have a hard time adapting to change. And especially like with all my past story that I was telling you, you know, like I feel like regular people, like they would just get another job and like they wouldn't even think about it. But because of me and my own limiting beliefs and my old story, I was like, oh, like I can't get another job, I can't get a professional job, I don't want to interact with people, I don't want to like this and this and this and that. I dealt with a lot of like scarcity mindset and lack of money, and like just a lot of like my darkness, my shadows just came up to the surface. And a couple weeks ago I was hanging out with this friend, and she was telling me, like, she wasn't the only one, like there was a few people, but it was especially her, where she was like, dude, like you have a psychology degree, like think about it, like you actually finished your degree, like you should use it, like you should do something with it. And I just didn't, because I would have a story of me from my childhood, of listening to my mom say these certain things, or like just this victimhood of like, I can't, I'm not capable, I'm not qualified, I can't do it, I have bad social skills, and like I'm not good enough, you know, like all these limiting beliefs were just coming up to the surface. All this past month I just was realizing, like, holy shit, like holy shit, like I put myself here. I put myself here of getting an apartment that costs way too much and not being able to afford it, and working at jobs that don't fulfill me, and like dealing with shitty ass people and all these different things that I was just saying. I was just very upset at myself for making all these past decisions, all these mistakes, and I just wanted to quit, like legit, but I couldn't. Like I can't quit, like I can't give up, like I can't. That's where my inner child healing is coming up. And that's where I want to speak about that. So once I realized this from like journaling and like talking about it and like feeling my emotions, my feelings, I realized like this isn't me anymore. This is the old version. This is the old me. It just hit me how like my inner child has been hurt and in pain and crying and frustrated and alone and dark. And I knew it, you know, like these last few months, this past year, I've been slowly getting realizations that I've been hiding. I've been in a closet, I've been in a cave, I've been in the darkness my whole life. That's where I left my inner child. That's where I left her. Like, she's been left in the dark. So I did a few meditations where I connected with her, and I just let her speak to me of how she was scared and she feels alone and that she has nobody. And I talked to her and tell her that I love her and that I'm there for her and that I want her to be happy and to play and be free, and that she doesn't have to worry, that she's protected and loved. And so yeah, I comfort her. I gave her comfort, I gave her love and the attention, the love that she needed, instead of just like letting her just be in the dark and letting her be in the cave by herself. My whole life I've just been on autopilot and just like passively living my life instead of me like being in control of it, just letting things happen to me instead of me putting in the work towards my dreams. Even though for so many years I wanted to work on my dreams and wanted to be financially free and be an entrepreneur and be in my creative modes and stuff, but like I had so much baggage, I have so much emotional and trauma within me that it was hard for me to like operate. It was hard for me to move. It was hard because like I had so much stagnant energy within me, and that's where like all these healing that I've had to do. And like healing is not a one-time thing. It's not a one-time thing. Like you could heal something and then later on it's going to come up again, or it's going to come up in a different way. And so this past year, I really had to learn to not be around certain people and like set boundaries and speak up my mind and to be confident and to love myself and self-care. I was not taking care of myself. And like even to this day, like I still have to like develop better habits in order to like better equip myself and be my higher self and be in line within my soul purpose. With everything that I just said with the inner child healing, I realized, yeah, maybe I should use my psychology degree. Maybe I should like work on my purpose. Maybe I should speak up my experiences and my truth and express myself, whether that's online, whether it's creating my business, whether it's at a job, whether it's anywhere, to just be myself. And so it took me a long time, dude. 27 years old. I'm not saying that I figured it out, because obviously like I still have to go through the motions of healing and getting out of my comfort zone and like becoming a better, more confident version of myself. But it's taking me so long to like face my fears, meet with my inner child. So I know it was a super long story, my story that I was just mentioning, but I feel like it was important for me to speak up for not only myself to like speak my truth, but also to help other people realize like, hey, you're not alone. Maybe you didn't deal with depression and social anxiety like I did, and like not believing in yourself, but maybe you've had to deal with other things. Maybe you had to like be the grown-up as a kid and like take care of your brothers and sisters, or take care of your parents, or you dealt with alcoholic parents or abuse, or like whatever you had to deal with. We all go through shit, dude. That's what I've been realizing. Like it's not just certain people, like everybody goes through shit, whether it's like little pain or a lot of pain. Like we've all gone through things, and not to mention just our own stories, but also from our ancestors. Like we legit get passed down trauma from our ancestors, especially like in the womb, because as a woman, like in your womb, if you still have things that you haven't healed or dealt with, that's gonna observe, your child is gonna observe that, because your womb is a very sacred place. And so when the child is born, it's kind of like you're passing on that DNA, those genetics, that trauma, however angle you want to look at it, like that trauma is passed on to the child. And that's what I've had to deal with, not only my own trauma from my childhood, but like my ancestral trauma of like poverty mindset, scarcity mindset, love blockages, money, relationships, and whatever else, you know. And not only that, but also like past lives. So there's a lot, you know, like there's just a lot that goes into it. But in this video I was specifically talking about inner child healing. So after that super long explanation of my story, as I was saying, like me sharing my truth, I'm hoping that it would help someone else realize that, hey, like you're not alone. Because when you're going through stuff, whether it's mentally or physically, emotionally, you just think that you're by yourself, that you're alone, and like that you're a freak or something, you know. Your mind makes you think that you're not good enough. And by me sharing my story, I hope that I can help other people not feel alone. Oh wow, like someone else is dealing with this too. But yeah, the main thing is to connect to your inner child, whether it's through meditation, whether it's journaling, whether it's your thoughts. What is your inner child telling you? Like, are they scared? Do they need you? Do they want more attention? Do they want more love? Like, do they need more validation from you? Do they need to like not be around certain people? Like, really connect with your inner child and find out what's holding them back. How do they feel? It sounds kind of weird if you're not really used to spirituality, but let me tell you, if you've done some healing and you're just acting out or being triggered on certain things, I would definitely look more into your inner child. I would say the main thing that really helped me is with meditations. I have this app called Insight, so you can download it. I find a lot of good meditations on there. Otherwise, like, YouTube is a definitely good one as well. Like, just look up any inner child healing, where they range from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, 40, an hour. Really like have that time, that space, that sacred place to be by yourself, so that way you're not distracted. And then when you go through the meditation, each meditation is different, but basically you're gonna meet up with your inner child, you're gonna talk to them, and you're going to listen to them. What do they have to say? How do they feel? What is going on? Like, what situations like hurt them? Really listen to them and hold space for them and love them. To me, I had to say, I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm sorry that I left you alone. Let them know that you're there now, that you love them, that you care for them, that you're gonna always be there for them, and that you want them to be happy. You want them to be safe, and give them that permission that, hey, everything is okay now. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm here to protect you. Like, legit, like you're talking to a child. Give them a hug. Like, imagine yourself giving them a hug, or like legit hug yourself. Hug yourself and give them that love that they need and want and deserve. Like, we all deserve the love within us. And so really like hug them. And then usually at the end of the meditations, either you'll say goodbye to them, or you'll mesh with each other, and then you kind of just go on with your day. But I would definitely journal about it as well. Those are just some quick things that I've been learning about inner child healing. Obviously there could be a lot more out there, but I just kind of wanted to share what I've been doing on my journey. Thank you so much for listening. I think I'm gonna stop that here. I've said enough. Thank you for listening to my story. I am a little embarrassed that, no, I don't want to say embarrassed. I was embarrassed, but I'm not embarrassed no more. It's kind of more of like embracing it and accepting it. Definitely before I go is to love yourself, accept yourself, and forgive yourself. Yeah, I just want to mention that really quick as you do your inner child healing. I hope this video has given you some valuable information, whether it's giving you certain tips or making you feel less alone by listening to my story. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with anybody that you feel may need it right now. Please comment if you've had to do your inner child healing, if you're open enough to share what your story was or what you've had to learn or ways that you've done to do inner child healing. Please share it in the comments below, so that way we have that supportive community to like love on each other, support, encourage each other on our journeys. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, and that's it for this video. Thank you so much, and I'm sending you so much love. Bye.